I'm Wendy Garrido. I help 6- and 7-figure entrepreneurs show up more authentically in every aspect of their life. And this is another How I Help video. I just got off a phone call with a client friend in my membership who reached out to me and was like, Wendy, I need your support. Do you have time to talk? And so we got on the phone. And she must have said 4 times, I just need your brain on this. I just need a little bit of Wendy brain power on this. And so we get talking, and it's like, first we have to acknowledge the emotions, right? Like, she was in the hospital 2 months ago with a significant health scare. 1 month ago, she had a significant family issue with her dad that she had to fly out of state to deal with. She also just hosted an event, which was a big part of her income for the last half of the year. And it was an international event, so there's a lot of pressure to get that done. And she said, I think this is just the first time that I'm having to like settle down and slow down and feel my feelings after all of this adrenaline. I mean, this is my words back to her. We're like, you've been in this adrenaline rush of like just having to ride the waves of just dealing with what was in front of you. And either sometimes this year you're putting out fires, sometimes you're planting seeds, but like, this has just been super intense this last little bit. And it's why I'm so passionate about talking about the intersection of business and life, because she has all these plans to move forward in her business, which are great until your personal life interrupts it. And you like those things just get put on the back burner, and they should. But then it's like, okay, now it's time to regroup. The question is, what do you want now? Where are you at now? Like, what makes sense now? And it's a constantly changing question, right? So partly it was just like taking a minute to acknowledge the emotional ride that she's been on. She said, I feel like I wanted to be in a really different revenue generating spot by this time last year. And I find that I'm in pretty much the same spot. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I said, I feel like I'm in the same way. Like, I didn't make the strides this year that I wanted to when it came to my revenue yet. But I definitely know that I've been planting seeds that will last or grow in the future. And I also like dealt with some significant fires and dealt with them pretty well in a way that they're not like gonna be wreaking such a havoc on my life going forward. So it's really hard to quantify that type of progress that we can make over the year. It's so easy to be like, well, my revenue is the same as it was last year. I made no progress. But it's like, where's the accounting? Where's the bookkeeping? Where's the indexing of the ways that you have healed yourself, of the things that you have learned, of the relationships that you have invested in, of the personal growth that you've gone through? And also of the foundations and the platforms that are going to be the base of what is coming. And we don't even really know what that is yet. So it's impossible to quantify all those things. But just because you don't feel like you've made progress does not mean you haven't made progress. And you know, when you're the go-getter type like we are, I had to do the same thing yesterday because there's a part of me that feels like I haven't made any progress yesterday. And then I'm like, well, actually, went to the city clerks and filed the paperwork I needed to, found a new mechanic or called 3 mechanics and then found a new one who was great and who came over and helped me figure out how to fix my car for 1/5 of what anybody else was going to charge me. And then I had a significant call with a dear friend of mine who's a good business and emotional support and also a client, and not to mention, you know, parenting my children and making food and going shopping. And I'm like, I guess, and that's not even all the things, right? I sent out the first 4 chapters of my book for people to review, just friends and close people to have a look at. So I'm like, oh, maybe I did do something yesterday, but we can't quantify those things the same way. So it was really helpful to remember that. And then the other part that people come to me because they think they want logistical support, and I offer logistical support, but we gotta take time to acknowledge the emotional parts before we can move freely in the logistical brainstorming parts. And so then once we kind of talked, once I said those things, then she's had a couple different ideas for how to generate $20,000 in the next few days. And so as she's talking to me, I can just, I don't know how to explain it, but I can feel in my body like, ooh, yeah, that sounds great and exciting. I think that's going to be really good for you. And then, and this is interesting because she is one who, she's a very highly trained public speaker. And so I think that objectively, it would be hard for most people. Like, you don't hear the difference between these two ideas that she said. Usually somebody would be like, Wendy, do you think I should do A or do you think I should do B? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that A is a lot more exciting to you, don't you think? And they're like, oh yeah, I guess so. But like, that's obvious. And it wouldn't be just be obvious to me, it's obvious to other people. But in this case, again, because I know her history, and so I know the person that she's talking about doing a JV partnership with, and I know their dynamics, and then I'm tracking my own sense of aliveness of the ideas that she's bringing up. And we had like, when I called her back, we had 25 minutes, and then it was another probably 14-minute phone call, basically. I should check it. But by the time she was done telling me everything, I had about 9 minutes to give her feedback. And it's so fun and easy to just be able to be like, okay, here's this, here's this, here's this. So that idea that you had about offering a workshop style VIP intensive where you have 4 people come for a third of the price and this 3 days a week, that sounds great. I think that's really going to do well for you. And here's a couple ideas for what to think about for that. When it comes to this joint venture partnership, you don't want to work with that person. You love that person, but it's a lot of work and the work falls on you. And there's so many other options to leverage this person's list who you're friends with and like make it a win-win where it doesn't rely on, like, you don't want to be in that dynamic with that person. I know you. And she just started laughing and she was like, yeah, you're right. Oh my gosh. And just started laughing. So and again, it wasn't like her tone of voice this time. It wasn't that, but it was partly because she sounded equally enthusiastic about both of these ideas. And it's interesting. I'm not sure what it is exactly, but because I do know the history, but there's something in her that thinks that both of these ideas are on the same level of possibility for her. And I think that I'm not sure what it is exactly. I'll have to think more about this, that she's struggling with, that makes it not crystal clear to her that this idea is a lot like, it's just going to be like trudging through mud, where this idea is going to be like skating across the ice. Like, you have done this 1,000 times. This is going to be easy as pie for you. And you've also done this many times, and every time you're a little annoyed and frustrated by this person not meeting deadlines and not communicating with you and changing the plan and all of these things. So I think that sometimes sometimes it's hard to see all of the possibilities. And so when we just see a couple possibilities and then we're like, oh, well, my options are A or B or C. And so you're weighting them the same because they're the only ones you have and you're looking at them and they're all equally valid options at one level. But the reality is there's so many other options. So it's like, well, if you're taking into account like the ease and enthusiasm and aliveness of things, like A, great. B, not so great, but it doesn't mean we can't elevate B to B. Now I'm really twisted up. To B, we can elevate B to be more on, like, to be better, right? And make it work better for you. So I think the way that I said it was like, that is not the easiest way to grab that low-hanging fruit. There's an easier way to get that fruit. And she's going to call me back again later. We can talk a little bit more in depth on things. But I love these like laser calls, and the people who have worked with me for a while, they know when it's like, oh, I need Wendy to freaking help me like iron out these wrinkles that I'm not seeing here, but I know that are here, and help like smooth the pathway that is the direction of ease and flow and aliveness and what feels good. So it's really a big ongoing I find never-ending process of who am I today? What have I learned this week or month or year? What do I want for this coming day or week or month or year? And what are the practical next steps that I can take in that direction that feel good and doable and sustainable for me right now based on everything else I have going on in my life? The other thing that's been really powerful, about a month ago, 2 months ago, I recorded a video about my values and looked at how the ways that I've invested my time and money in the past year or so, how those align with my values. And for the most part, I was really happy with how I'd been investing my time and money. And towards the end of that video, I was like, you know what? What I haven't been spending as much time on lately as I would like is exercise and health and my body. And I realized this morning, I was like, that has changed. Like, I'm spending easily an hour a day either exercising or stretching or doing self-massage or self-pleasuring or like whatever. Like, I feel more connected to my body than I have in a long time. And I feel like I know I'm getting stronger and I'm getting more in shape than I have been in probably 5 years. And for me, when this happens, there's often like a little tipping point that happens, or a series of tipping points in different ways that just sort of gradually and get me ended up in this spot. So one of those was that video, and to just like have the intellectual understanding of, wow, I feel really good about every way that I've spent my time, except for how I'm taking care of myself physically. And then my son asking to go on a run. We went out on a run, and that was like just the start of like, it's a walk run, like it's not even a run, but it's a couch potato to 5K where you walk a minute and you run a minute and you walk a minute and a half and whatever it is. But it's like, sometimes I just do one small, like I just start stretching in the morning, and then that makes me feel better. And so then I'm like, oh, well, as long as I'm stretching, I might as well do some yoga. And as long as I'm doing yoga, then I might as well do some weight training. And it's like, I'm constantly asking myself, what do I want to do right now? What would my body enjoy right now? What do I notice in my body, and what do I want to do about that? And it feels like bootstrapping, right? Like I'm like, okay, I move up a little bit over here, and then that makes me be able to move up more over here. And then that makes me be able to move up over here. It just feels really great to be feeling so strong again, and to be feeling, I guess better about my body is in a way, but I haven't felt bad about my body. Like, I've just had it makes me cry. I've had so much compassion for just like how this body has been like carried me through so many hard times in the past several years. And sometimes I treat it great, and sometimes I just don't pay much attention to it, and don't always put the best things into it. And yet, like, here it is. And the minute that I start treating it better, it's like showing up for me. And I just had deja vu. Like, I've had a dream about this. That's so weird. So yeah, it's not that I felt bad about it. It just feels like I've noticed that something was out of balance, you know? And so it's been nice to feel like it's been easy to rectify it. I'm trying to think of a metaphor for, I don't know. It's like slightly overcast outside, and I'm like, if I leave my car windows up and it's gonna rain, my car windows down and it's gonna rain, like I did last week, and I didn't know they were down all night while it was raining. But it's like, oh, I see the windows are down, I see there's rain, I guess I'm gonna go out and put the windows up. I'm not like in all of this judgment about how bad it is or wrong it is that the windows are down on the car. Like, that made sense given what was going on at the time, and then I didn't do anything different. And so now it makes sense to do something different. And that's really what it feels like. And I'm very happy to be in a place in my life like this, where I'm like, I can look at my cellulite and like, enjoy it and I like get to know it better and just feel like it's just how it is. And it'll change or it won't change or it doesn't matter. Like it's, I don't know. I have this level of acceptance that feels really nice. And it's like the acceptance of what is and also the like, yeah, honoring what the other parts of what is, which is that I'm also like, feels good to be moving my body. So, yeah, I hope if you haven't already checked out my values video, I think you'll like that. And also just that act. I think it's easy to underestimate how much a conscious awareness, just the conscious awareness of something can begin to shift it. Because when we're unconscious of it, we probably aren't going to shift it. And sometimes you need way more than just conscious awareness of a problem, but sometimes you don't. Like conscious awareness plus honoring your aliveness can equal moving in the direction of what you want. So I think that's all. Okay, that's all for me for now. Thank you. Take care. Big hugs. Subscribe if you want to subscribe. Like if you want to like. Share if you want to share. Don't do any of those things if you don't want to. Okay, big hugs. Bye.